Hi everyone, you're very welcome to this presentation on APM. My name is Michael Barry and I lecture APM for Accountancyschool.ie. I've been lecturing APM for over 30 years to both Irish and international students. What I want to do in this presentation is give you some insights into APM and hopefully encourage you to take APM as one of your two option papers. As you know, the option papers are more challenging than SPL and SPR, and that is reflected, of course, in the pass rates. But we would encourage students to do prior to taking APM is to complete an SPL course, okay? Now, you don't have to pass SPL, but at least complete an SPL course. In SPL, you're exposed to case studies, scenarios, exam technique, and you're expected to have that in an APM classroom. So we'd strongly recommend to complete SPL before joining our APM program. If you're a student that is coming straight from applied skills level into an option paper, you will find that very, very challenging. It's like trying to run before you can actually walk. So we'd strongly recommend you complete an SBL course before joining us at the accountancy school for APM. How would you describe APM? In a nutshell, what you're doing is you're combining SBL with performance management at applied skills level. So effectively, it's SBL and performance management integrated. Now, it might have been a long time ago since you have done performance management, or you might even have been exempted from performance management. Should not be a concern because everything you cover at performance management, we will go back over again in our APM lectures. But as I said, the most important thing is that you would have completed an SBL course. Now, we have two types of courses at the accountancy school. We have the short course and the long course for APM. We run the short courses for the March and September sittings and the long courses for the June and December sittings. Now, we have fantastic pass rates in APM. And not only that, we've had a lot of world #1 placings in recent years. And you can actually see there most recently, we had 3 of our students from the accountancy school coming first in the world in the December 21, March 22, and June 23 exams. And in September 2023, one of our students was actually placed second in the world. Now, in relation to pass rates at the accountancy school, what you'll find is that the pass rates in APM are significantly higher than the worldwide pass rates. And that, of course, is reflected in our status as a premier ACCA tuition provider. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about how the program is structured at the accountancy school. And I also want to talk to you about the exam as well. But in relation to our program at the accountancy school, what I have here is our program for a long course, and it's broken down into the main part of the program and the revision element. For the long program, we have 16 lectures in APM plus a workshop. Now, the students find the workshop very beneficial, and we deliver a workshop towards the end of the main part of the program. And what we do is we focus on both Section A and Section B of the exam. And in that workshop, what we'll be talking about is how to lay out a report. We'll also be looking at exam technique. And what we also cover in that workshop is work that may be required using the spreadsheet tab on the ACCA computer-based exam platform. Now, the revision phase of the program then is 2 days plus 2 evenings. Now, revision is quite comprehensive. And I just want to show you the course program sheet there that I use for the March 2025 sitting. So all revision students get access to my revision program sheet. And what happens is I release my course program, my revision program, prior to the revision phase so that students can read the questions prior to attending each of the 6 sessions. And it makes the revision much more productive. At the bottom, what you have is a list of questions that we normally do in class, also the assignments and self-review questions. Now, during the revision phase, what I also do is I release more assignments, and all the assignments have to be done on the computer-based exam platform. And following that, then what I do is also give you guidance on what questions you need, what additional questions you need to be looking at following the revision program. So that's how the revision program is actually laid out. It's very intensive, but at the same time, it gets results. Now, the main part of the program, what we do during the lectures is we go through each of the chapters in my course notes. So I just want to show you every student that comes on the course will actually get a copy of the course notes, a hard copy of the course notes. And you can see that there are 27 chapters. Now, a lot of these chapters involves concepts, principles, and techniques that you would have picked up on your ACCA journey to date. The syllabus is broken down into 4 areas A, B, C, and D. And there are 27 chapters in my course notes. Now, what you'll find with my course notes is that it's very much exam focused. These course notes were written by myself, and they are actually prepared for students that are actually taking the APM exam. And the course notes are very much up to date. Now, what you'll find as well is the course notes incorporate a lot of the articles that have been released by the ACCA exam team in recent years. So, for example, my chapter on transfer pricing there incorporates examples that were actually used from an article on transfer pricing released by the APM exam team. So any articles that have been released by the ACCA exam team have been incorporated into those 27 chapters. So for example, chapter 27 is on complex business structures. And we had an article from the APM examiner on complex business structures. So when I put that chapter together, that chapter 27, I was taken on board what the examiner was trying to get across in relation to that article on complex business structures. But you will see when you go through the content of the APM program that you are going to come across a lot of areas that you would have heard about in your previous studies. You know, we've all heard about the NPV technique, the IRR, the strategic planning process, TQM, Japanese business practices, the ROI, residual income, like everything. There's very little new content in APM. Most of the content in APM is on areas that you would actually have encountered in your previous studies. But what we want to do is bring all these areas together in order to address the requirements that are put in front of us on exam day. Now, I want to just talk to you about the way we actually work with questions in the APM classroom. What I'm doing here is I'm opening up the revision kit. Now, everybody will get access to the revision kit. You'll get a hard copy of the revision kit. You'll also get a hard copy of the course notes. I'm looking here at question 1 from the sample paper, March-June 2023. And you can see there that you have 3 requirements there. This is what makes APM different to other ACCA papers. It's not possible to figure out what the examiner is looking at by just simply reading those requirements. What the examiner will do is give you guidance in the text of the case study. This is a case study that we're looking at here. And so when you go to Exhibit 2, for example, on performance reporting, you're given guidance on how to handle requirement A. When you go to Exhibit 3, you're given guidance on how to handle requirement B. And when you go to illustration 4, once again, you're given guidance on how to handle part C. In the case study, the first exhibit is normally the company background, products, markets. You might be given the overall aim, strategies, mission statement, or something to that effect. So that's generally what happens in the case study, exhibit 1, just purely company background information. The other exhibits then are guidance on how to handle requirements A, B, C, or could possibly be a requirement D as well. The case study will have appendices, okay? These are exhibits. And you can see here that Exhibit 5 is actually a performance report. And this normally happens in APM where the examiner throws a performance report at you in Appendix 1, okay? So the appendices are shown as exhibits as well. So Exhibit 5 is an appendix showing the performance report of a business for the last 12 months. Very rarely do we not see a performance report in the APM case study. Now, the case study is 50 marks, okay, and it's broken down between technical and professional marks. Technical marks 40, professional marks 10. That's for the case study, 50% of the exam, half the exam paper. Exhibit 6 then is once again more appendix data to actually work with, and it's a consultant's report. So generally you have 2 appendices with the case study question in APM. Now, you could actually have 3 or even 4 appendices, but it's going to be at least the 2 appendices in the case study in your APM exam. Now, in terms of numerical work, I mean, APM is not a numerical type exam. Most of the marks in APM are going for narrative type requirements. And if I was to give just maybe a general breakdown, you're talking 85% narrative and up to 15% numerical. And in this particular case study, yes, there is some numerical work involved when you get to requirement C. Now, professional marks are very, very important. Now, what I do is I actually produce my own answers to questions, both case study questions and section B type questions. And the reason why I do that is I want students to maximize their professional marks. So there are 40 technical marks for the case study and 10 professional marks. So the reason why I produce my own solutions is to make sure that students do know where they're picking up the professional marks. Now, this is an example of a solution I used in a recent APM revision class. What I do is I annotate my own solutions as well, and that there enables me to efficiently deliver a case study question during a revision program. See, what we want to try and do during revision is get as many questions and answers behind us as we possibly can. It's all about, question practice, okay? And you have to expose yourself to as many questions as you possibly can before you take the exam. Now, you can see already that there's no calculations done. Any calculations that were done there are very light in nature, and the working is actually shown in a little bracket. All this has been done on this ACCA computer-based exam platform, and I just simply transferred it over to to a PDF document. Now, calculations were required, but they came in towards the end. And you are using these calculations to support your analysis. So from a numerical point of view, that's all that candidates actually had to do there in order to address part of their answer to C. And you're not talking more than 5% of the marks in the case study going for the numerical work here. So that's what a typical solution looks like that I use for case studies and also for Section B type questions. And students find the tutor answers very, very useful. And in fact, it's these tutor answers that are the difference between passing and failing. And what you'll find with my answers is that they're fully loaded with learning points that you can take away that you might be able to use in your own exam. Now, back to the exam paper again, and what I want to do is I want to show you what a Section B type question looks like as well. So this sample paper, you have question 1, the case study, then you have Section B where you have question 2, question 3. Now, these are scenario type questions, report format not required for Section B type questions. You have question 2 here, which is on environmental management accounting and life cycle costing. And this is an area that you would have come across in your previous studies, but you might have completely forgot about it. But as I said there earlier on, I wouldn't worry about that because we go back to the very, very beginning again to make sure that you're very familiar with all these techniques, concepts, and principles because they will be required again in an APM classroom. Now, once again, you can see that it's not possible to identify what the examiner wants you to do here in Part A, Part B. And once again, you have company background in Exhibit 1. When you move to Exhibit 2, the examiner gives you guidance on how to handle Requirement A. When you move to Exhibit 3, once again, the examiner is giving you guidance on how to handle Requirement B. And what you have then, Exhibit 4 is really just an appendix, okay? And you'll be working with that appendix when you're addressing Requirement A and also Requirement B. Question 3 of this sample paper is quite similar, except there are 3 requirements here. And once again, it's not possible to figure out what the examiner is looking for when you read down through those 3 requirements. So typical flow, you have background Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is guidance on how to handle Requirement A. Exhibit 3, guidance on how to handle Requirement B. Exhibit 4, guidance how to handle Requirement C. So the requirements are embedded in the text of the exhibits, and that's what makes APM stand out from other professional exams in the ACCA study system. Now, you can see from that sample paper there, yes, there was a little bit of numerical work in the case study, but you also had a little bit of numerical work involved there as well in relation to life cycle costing. Now, it wasn't heavy number crunching, okay? Not like what you have been exposed to at applied skills level. So if you're looking for a numerical type option paper, you'd be far better off selecting AFM than APM. So APM is very heavy on narrative type requirements. So I think it's important to be aware of that before you actually take an option. I suppose the best thing for you to do is to maybe go on to the ACCA website and have a look at some of the past exam papers in APM. And APM, I think, is a lovely paper to take on, particularly if you're working in industry, okay? And you're somebody that also liked SPL and as well as performance management at applied skills level. But if you liked SPL at professional level, I think you will love APM. And more so if you're working in industry, because a lot of the stuff that you encounter in APM, you can relate to work, you can relate to industry. So that's what's involved in APM. We have a wonderful program. It's well structured, broken down into the main phase, the revision phase. You will be given access to course notes. You'll also be given access to tutor answers. Every single question there that you encounter in the revision kit, I will provide you with a tutor answer that is very much focused on maximizing your professional marks. Professional marks are important. Now, obviously, technical marks are important as well. But very often it's the professional mark that gets the student the magic 50%. And that's why I'm very, very professional when I sit down to write an answer to an exam standard question. So look, if you have any other questions about APM, what I would suggest that you do is drop me an email, and you'll find my email there on the top of that course program sheet there that I've just prepared for my next batch of APM students. It's michael.barry@accountancyschool.ie. So any questions at all with respect to APM, I'd only be too happy to answer those questions for you. You're in very good hands with the accountancy school when it comes to APM. And I know that if you do come on the course that you will enjoy the program. You'll sort of understand that there's a good bit of work involved in trying to get this exam, but you'll be given very good guidance. You'll be exposed to a lot of questions. There'll be plenty of assignments as well. Now, the assignments are not mandatory, but we'd encourage you to do as many assignments as you possibly can. But the students find the assignments very, very useful, particularly the feedback that they get. We also have a mock exam as well in APM, and that's set by an external provider, and it's also marked externally as well. And it's important to get an objective assessment of a student's performance, because what I tend to do is I assess the student performance during the course. But I think it's important to get an objective view as well. And that's why our mock exams are set externally and also marked externally as well. So look, if you do happen to select APM as an option paper, I think you're making the right decision. And I look forward to working with you in the future on advanced performance management. Thank you.